The monolithic cabin is a transportable monolithic dome that we build here in Italy, Texas. This video is going to go over the building process, how we move them, and some of their uses. What you're seeing here is the pad that we use to form and pour the monolithic cabin's floors. We use metal forms that are bolted down to the concrete, and you can see the metal pans we use to form the beams that are under the floor. Next comes the floor reinforcing steel. We put rebar 6 inches on center lengthways and 12 inches on center across. Inside the beam we have 6 number 6 bars, and right now they're tying them up so they're suspended. After the rebar beams are in place, we can start to install the lifting pin receiver. Basically, it's a 2-inch pipe, 1/4 inch thick, about 2 feet long, that's tied and poured into the beam. Once we get all the steel done, we can pour the concrete. As you can see, we are using our monolithic concrete mixer to mix the concrete. The monolithic concrete mixer is a skid steer mountable concrete mixer that is incredibly versatile. And this is such a small job that this mixer is really the best way to go. It takes from 6 to 8 loads depending on the cabin, which is about 2 or 3 yards of concrete. And this amount of concrete can be mixed in about 30-45 minutes. Now, once all the concrete's poured, we can start marking out for our uprights. For the rebar in the cabin, we're using number 2 steel, and our uprights will be every 12 inches. Once the uprights are in place, we will continue with a smooth trowel finish. Now we can start the dome. Before the airform is attached, we need to install a layer of insulation around the outside of the floor. This ensures that no heat loss will occur through the floor. Once the insulation is installed and the rebar dowels have been folded down, we can start attaching the airform. We use the standard system that we use in the monolithic domes for attaching the airform, which is a thin piece of galvanized steel with concrete anchors. And once it's attached, we can inflate. Now that our airform is attached and inflated, we can start to install the door bucks. We built these door bucks using the monolithic quick corner to build them. That's a plastic piece to help put the 8-inch round radius on the corners. We use 2x8 pressure treated boards that will remain in the concrete when the construction is finished. This aids in attaching the windows and doors. Moving on to the front door, we've used the same door buck quick corner system. The unique shape of the monolithic cabin requires us to use some forms to keep the sidewalls vertical. These plywood forms are put in place at low pressure and remain during the whole construction of the cabin. Once the form is complete, we can build the cabin using the same proven system that we used to build the monolithic dome. The foam is 3 inches thick, and the number 2 rebar is at 12 inches on center. The concrete is sprayed on at about 2.5 inches thick and tests well above 6,000 psi. Now that the cabin's done, we can move it. For lifting, we use a lifting pin. It slides into the pipe that we've poured into the beam, and the cable will attach to it. The crane is rigged using a 12-foot wide spreader bar that will ensure that the cables do not scar the side of the dome. Once the crane is in position, we can start to attach the cables to the lifting pins. Once our pins are all hooked, we can lift it out of the casting bed. Once removed, we have to remove the metal trays that form the beams underneath the floor and any of the extra material that was used during the forming of the floor. For temporary setting, we can just sit the cabin onto concrete blocks that are set on top of the ground. Then we can use wood shims to level it so that the interior construction can be done correctly. Any final adjustments to the leveling of the cabin can be done easily by adding other shims. To check the level of the cabin, we're just using a standard bubble level inside on the floor. Once cleared of forming materials, we can swing it over and set it on a truck to be transported anywhere in the world. The monolithic cabin is a miniature version of the monolithic dome, and as such carries with it the advantages of dome living: high durability, cost-effective, energy efficient, and built with green materials. It has a wide range of uses, from a utility tower closet to a freezer to a low-cost rental house, and cabins can be set into a number of environments with little preparation. Be sure to check out our website, www.monolithic.com, for more information about these monolithic cabins.